Hey guys, it's Saru, and I had a nice opportunity this weekend to play the VIP demo for Anthem. All in all, I had a pretty pleasant experience, but as demos are, I'm fully aware that this isn't the full product and that the game will be vastly different than what the demo served. With that said and done, I wanted to give a little review of the demo itself and what I think about the game thus far, its mechanics, controls, graphics, etc. And of course, my thoughts and concerns for the future of Anthem itself. So let us begin. So to start off, when I started the game, you had these nice little messages telling you welcome and all that stuff to pre-order the game and, well, normal stuff basically. Plus you start at level 10 and you're given a small tutorial on what to do. The map of Tarsus itself is pretty big, yet small in a sense of a single player experience. I was kind of hoping for a city filled with players, but that's just me because I'm used to MMORPGs, and that's just more personal dreaming than anything. But as far as I know there is going to be a social hub with 16 players, I believe, so that's kind of alright, I guess. But for me, I feel the city was small only because a lot of the areas were closed off because this is a demo. Now the controls were pretty standard, the options were given on the PlayStation 4 Pro were pretty easy to understand. But jumping into the game itself and outside the map, I noticed the vibrant light that shone upon every surface. Honestly, it was gorgeous. It somewhat reminded me of Star Wars Battlefront 2, graphically at least, don't get that confused. And the ambiance of the light and everything, the way it touched the light, I've just felt like Mufasa telling Simba, everything the light touches. It was just gorgeous, it was gorgeous, I love it. Little did I know that later on Tarsus at least, it had a day and night cycle of sorts. And this came kind of a bit of a surprise for me when I came back from a mission and it was just nighttime. Quite frankly, I thought it was even gorgeous as well in nighttime, and I was just surprised and taken back. So my first mission, I was basically alone because there were a few issues with their servers, and on this review of the game, I'm not going to be talking about the server structures or infrastructures or whatever, the lag or delay or whatever the case, but mostly just the content of the game itself. So in that first mission, I was still learning on how to get around, and quite frankly, it took me a little bit to get used to it, at least to the reaction time, and even longer to learn how to fly. It was actually my team who told me how to fly, so that was exciting. Monsters were plenty and challenging, and it's basically what captivated me through my playthrough. Trying to figure out what weak spots were, how to maneuver myself around the opponents, it was a little bit challenging at first, and ended up enjoying myself even more. I think, to be honest, my favorite part of the demo itself was flying through free play. I loved that it did a day and night cycle of sorts, and during the dark spots of the game, you had a little flashlight that shines on dark spots like rocks so you can know where you're going. Quite frankly, I wasn't a big fan of the underwater stuff, but I'm not going to mention that here. Roaming around the world looking at the gorgeous structures and lightning, I was reminded of games like Ark or Monster Hunter Online in the sense of going around and finding monsters around, natural creatures in their habitats, crafting materials through specific nodes of flowers or rocks. It felt pretty familiar, so I felt comfortable. But I felt also that I could just roam around the world for a while, and it satisfied me for a while, until I found world events, which made free play even better for me. Some were easy, which was just collecting echoes and delivering it into this location where I just need to put it in order to open a door to a hidden dungeon, or it's just part of a sequence of world events that's going on, and it was satisfying for a bit. Others would be like killing creatures and defending a certain location, or just basically killing monsters over and over again, which at the end would give you a reward with a chest that would give you tons of embers. I guess depending on your difficulty. Now embers, of course, I found out later on that I needed for crafting different components of my class. At level 12 I finally got my Storm, and I was super excited to play him, and I later found out that in order to get my crafting sections opened, you needed to essentially beat challenges, or feats rather, for your class. So to get specific crafting blueprints, for example, like my rare stuff, which I couldn't open up for a while, I had to go ahead and do a challenge, and once I was able to and finish it, I was able to craft it. I don't know if that was actually what it was, maybe I was just lucky and I got a blueprint or something, but at least in my case, that's what I thought it was. Going into the missions was super fun for me with friends. I didn't really enjoy myself going into public matches or playing by myself, but I had my team ready, and quite frankly, after level 12, we just did non-stop hard versions of the missions just to get the best out of the experience. It was hard at first, but as we continue to level up and get stronger and more higher tier items, and with that also a higher gear score, it just became easier and easier. My thing that I absolutely loved fighting was the Swarm Tyrant boss. Now they may seem weird, but I found the animations of the boss itself extremely amazing. It was gorgeous, the way it moved, its mechanics where it goes up into hiding. It was a gorgeous, grotesque creation. And yes, it hurt like f at first, but I was amazed by its movements and how smooth it moved around, at least graphically and frame rate wise. I just thought it was pretty fun. Ultimately, the world was gorgeous, and I stayed on the game most of the weekend, just enjoying the world, roaming around the world of free play, doing missions, just chilling and seeing the world in the light and free play was an absolute blast for me. Hell, I even got Masterwork Embers when they weren't even supposed to be in the game at all, at least for this demo, so that's a plus. Let's call it a world first achievement and make me feel like I actually accomplished something in my life. So graphically, as I have repeated more and more again, it was gorgeous. Content-wise, I loved it, but here are my concerns and suggestions, and this video probably won't take off at all, but I'm hoping that one of you, at least just one of you that watched this video, will share it, and hopefully it will take off, or at least the idea of what I'm about to say will take off, and other people will copy it, and maybe somebody at BioWare will listen, and then maybe somebody at EA will actually approve it. So, I believe Anthem can be better than what is offered. Now yes, I know you're saying it's just a demo, Saru. You're asking for too much. So how? Well, I think that it's high time to remove the stigma of the gaming development world where we see Anthem 1, Anthem 2, Anthem 3, Anthem the Revenge, Anthem the Creation of Anthem, Anthem of Creation, so on and so forth, on a yearly or bi-yearly release of series. Instead, build upon this game, expand on it. If next year there is supposed to be Anthem 2, or in 2 years from now there's supposed to be Anthem 2, and it has even more story and lore or backstory to the world, don't release it as a separate game for those extra $50 that you want to get, or pre-order packs. Instead, build on this game to further expand it. You have even more story to add, release it as a DLC next year and expand on it. Use the MMO formula like World of Warcraft for example, and release expansions of the maps, of the game, of the classes, and so on and so forth. As a gamer, at least myself, I'm tired of this yearly release BS where we need to buy 3 different years of worth of game just for the full story. I'm unsure of what to think of the game. I know the demo is nothing like the real game, and for all we know, it could be a massive flop. But listen to me, listen to your audience. Anthem can be much more of a success if you take out the greed part of wanting to make a quick buck through pay to win, or loot boxes, or gambling, or locking important content behind a paywall. Take all of that out, expand on this game, and it can live for the next 5 to 10 years as a massive brand. So my review on the game, it was a good 8 out of 10. I thought it was gorgeous. I think the gameplay was fun. I didn't necessarily like that the default sensitivity for the controls were super slow. Even maxed out, it felt a little bit sluggish. I found some frame drops when I would be flying around in the sky, and then I would land by pressing triangle with my melee move, or when there were so many particle effects going on when I did my Storm ultimate and other players were doing their ultimates, I did notice a little bit of a frame drop. Now, servers were obviously terrible for the first day and a half, and the loading screen bug where we couldn't party up together, or it just kept you forever waiting in a loading screen was absolutely frustrating. But I'm mostly judging on the game himself, and I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. All in all, I had a blast. I don't know if that's enough for me. Maybe I'll do another review when the game does release. I will say, however, I spent the majority of my Sunday looking for the Ancient Ash Titan, only to find out it's not even in this version of the game. Or demo, at least. Well, that was nice time wasted. Then at least I got Masterwork Ember, so I guess that's something. I hope this video helped you guys, and I still think it has a lot of potential and can dominate the market, but a lot of good decisions need to be made in advance in order for that to happen. And at the very least, I'm comfortable that the game actually has gone gold and is completely finished, but we will see. Now, before I went into this whole demo, I actually had no idea what Anthem was about. I didn't know the classes, I didn't know the movements, I didn't know the story, I didn't know anything, so I wanted to go in completely blind on this demo, and I came out pretty satisfied. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable bell to know when I upload a brand new video. Much love, and as always, till next time, friends.